It's been a while. I do have a lot of things that I filmed. Unfortunately, they're mostly vlogs, so there's quite a lot of that to come. But I thought I would do some wrap ups. I didn't really enjoy doing them on the whole, but for all that I love readathons, I always kind of thought it was a shame that I never really talked about them beyond the vlogs. And the vlogs aren't readathon based. So this is going to be a wrap up for June and July. For the Buzzwordathon, I read All the Snake Handlers I Know Are Dead by Danvers. I don't really know, like, I can't really pinpoint the things that I really loved about it. I just enjoyed it. It is very much like a full length novel in a bite sized chunk, which was fun. I gave it 4 stars. After that was the Dragonathon, which was very much a case of like best intentions. I started Realm of Dragons by Morgan Rice and narrated by Kevin Green. This was through Scribd. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me on any level. And so that was it. It was a pretty quick DNF. It could have been quicker. I did start The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. I haven't managed to finish it. I've had like obligations, love book tours. One review has gone up today and the other is next week. I really enjoyed The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I'm still quite early on. I don't really like the comparison. But something about the city is kind of giving me like Spirited Away vibes. And I'm enjoying that. I really like the city. I'm curious to see what else is there if we get to meet any other gods. There's an arsehole, and I think he might be the love interest, and that's not like my favourite thing, but I'm also like curious to see, you know, like beyond the first impressions. I don't like the trope that much, but I am also a sucker for it. Yeah, it is very curious, like the mystery of, you know, the sea god's brides, about, you know, having your soul untethered from your body. I'm just really looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. I didn't get to any of the other ones. I said I was going to restart the Priory of the Orange Tree, but no. For the Queer Lit Readathon, I'm going to shout out 13th by C.M. Rosens because I didn't get to it, but I love it. I also love The Crows, which is the first book and is one of my favourite books. It's gothic, it's eldritch, it's cannibals, it's a sentient house. It's amazing. And both The Crows and 13th, you can listen to it on the author's podcast, which is Eldritch Girl, link down below. Completely free to listen to, and I highly recommend it. For the ones I actually did get to, I started The Companion by E. Ottoman, also through Scribd. I did not get the narrator's voice, I'm sorry. Sorry, did not get the narrator's name. I gave it 4 stars. It was a DNF, less because I didn't want to keep going with it and more because my subscription just ran out. I gave it 4 stars. It's really good. It just wasn't for me. I did not vibe with it, and I didn't want to be like mean. It's, you know, 4 stars. I also read Stardust Poems by Frank Vidar. I am not good with poetry. I am famously bad at analysing poetry, and I think maybe that's partly why, but I just didn't enjoy it. I did not read it. As for book group, I have this thing about where I like to read books in order, even if the series is standalone. And so I went back and I read The Empress of Salt and Fortune, as well as When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain, which was the pick. I give both of these 5 stars. They are absolutely fantastic. They are about stories in the world, how they affect it, how they shape it, perceptions of it, and they're beautiful and they're gorgeous, and I love them. For July, I wanted to be ambitious, and of course I caught COVID, and so that broke my heart. Of course, there was the WorldAnvil, which I did not actually manage to read in the first week. I think I read it on the last day. Summer Splash Readathon and Questathon, I did not manage to get to the single book that I chose for the book group. The WorldAnvil pick was The Future Library by Peng. Oh, I should probably point out both of these short stories are available on Tor to read for free. I gave this one 4 stars, and I read it and I thought, that's a story. But the more that time is passing, the more I'm kind of reevaluating what I thought of it. Not enough to be interested in rereading it, but I do think I like it a lot more now. It's about, I think, an actual project, the Future Library Project, which is 100 authors being picked to write a story, and they're going to cut down a tree after 100 years, and they're going to use the tree to print the story. And each author has a tree. And in the story, when the first tree is cut down, it's discovered not to have solely concentric rings, but for these rings to be words. And yeah, it's interesting. After that, we have My Heartbreak. I chose the Summer Splash Readathon and the Questathon because they had non-reading prompts. The one I managed to do for both of them was read a book entirely outside. And yeah, that was that was good. My heart is broken because they both had do an outfit inspired by a book. And I know that means just pick something out your wardrobe, but I was going to make a dress and put it together with the stay that I have and my crown, and I am heartbroken. But yeah, this did not go well at all. 12 books I had for the Summer Splash Readathon, and I read, I'm going to say 2. I read the first 3 volumes of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun by Izumi Tsubaki and translated by Leanne Harvey. And this is just a comfort feel-good read for me. It's absolutely buck wild. It follows this guy who is a mangaka. He writes shoujo manga, which is for girls, and it's this love story, and he is completely oblivious, especially to matters of the heart. Sakura Chiyo is who we're introduced to first, and she's going to confess to him, and she ends up helping him work on his manga instead, and he just is completely oblivious to it. And it's all sorts of wacky hijinks. I've got 10 volumes of it, and I would say of them, volume 3 is the weakest, because this kind of hijinks and wacky fun kind of requires them to be a little bit oblivious and a little bit, pushing at the strains at what you think a person can misunderstand. But that took it a bit too far, and also it had the most detestable character in it, and but it's still really funny. I think 4 stars is the lowest I've went with those three, and the other one was The Bride Test by Helen Huang. Um, this is the second book in in the Kiss Quotient series, and I loved it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I gave it 5 stars, and I actually read it in one, which was really nice because I was feeling like absolute shit. It is about Kai, who is autistic, and because he doesn't process emotions the same as other people around him, he feels like he doesn't have important feelings. Like, he didn't grieve the right way when his friend died, and so like he feels like he can't love. And his mother has gone and gotten Esme from Vietnam, and it's like, stay here for like a month and try to get him to fall in love with you, because I know that he can. I know it's just like a different process for him, and I want him to have someone and be happy. And the yearning, the pining, I don't like certain kinds of miscommunication. Um, I especially don't like when it's forced, but there's kind of like a little bit of talking at odds, and it was done in such a way as it kind of really pulled on my heartstrings rather than annoyed me. And so like I love this book. And for the Questathon, 12 books also. Except the Questathon, you were supposed to read them in order. I'm not gonna, like, most of them were the same for the Summer Splash Readathon. The Bride Test was actually supposed to be there. Oh, actually no, I didn't then. I only got Monthly Girls and Zaki-kun because you're supposed to read them in order. I also did The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon and narrated by Alana Carr. Yeah, so that technically doesn't count because I didn't do it in order. Okay, that's fine. I actually really enjoyed that one as well. I gave it 5 stars. Like, I was all in from the very start. Alana Carr has just like the most gorgeous voice, and I loved listening to her. And then about a few, like 4-ish chapters in, we had this big revelation, and I was like, "You have completely lost me. I'm here for the narrator, but the story isn't going to work for me anymore." And then it did. And then it did. Yeah, I think I just had a really good time with it, and I really love like the ideas of mind lords. I really love Paige. I think like government wise, it's really interesting where things are going to go in the future. I saw some people being like, I don't like the relationship, the romance, and I didn't see it coming. Like, why is it? But I feel like, if you look at that and her relationship with Nick, where possible, because obviously the circumstances are different, where possible, they kind of followed the same trajectory. And also, I did like them as a couple. But yeah, the way it ended, it wasn't a cliffhanger. It would actually just have been like fine to end it as a standalone. But I'm really glad it's a series. I'm really looking forward to keeping going with it. Yeah. And that was it. I didn't manage to read When Other People Saw As They Saw the Dead. But I'm going to shout that out because it's by an indie publisher, Haunt Publishing, which is one of my favourite indies. They did an anthology of Scottish Gothic short stories, which I absolutely adore, and this is like a BIPOC Gothic anthology, and I am so excited. and I have no time, but it's going to be great. I promise. Like, it's going to be amazing. Oh, before I forget, I'm filming this on the 3rd, which means it's probably going to go up tomorrow, and that is Chishi, which is the Double Seventh Festival. And so I don't know how many of you are celebrating, but I hope it's good. I hope it's a good day. Thank you for watching. Bye.